going to behave. You've got some food. Don't eat that. Oh, bless. Oh, good evening everybody. Once again, Sunday evening has come around so quickly. Crack straight on with our hymns for this evening. I've got 73 to begin with, through all the changing scenes of life, which is just so appropriate, I think, for the situation we find ourselves in. That it doesn't matter what situation we find ourselves in, we can continue to praise. I moved the stool earlier on and it's not quite where I want it, so let's put it there. Turn that off. Here we go through all the changing scenes of life. using a tune book, hymns and psalms, you notice that the tune Wiltshire, which I've just played, I probably don't need to tell you this, but I do always do a sort of play over of some description. When it's just a four-liner, I will do the whole verse usually. If it's something longer, then hopefully I'll make it obvious enough so that you get an introduction. I just don't have to crash straight into something. If you're using the hymn book, you'll notice that the tune 72 is also Wiltshire, and to have two tunes, common metre tunes, next door to same tune next door to each other, really quite interesting, I suppose, how that turned out and how that happened. That the words sort of fit into the same section as they've been selected in the hymn book. And the composer of that, George Smart, I'm indebted to Colin for supplying me this bit of information. It's always good to know a bit of background about the hymns. And the tune composed by Sir George T. Smart, he was as a child a choir boy in the Chapel Royal and later became organist there. That's quite a unique, a good position to have. So he was acquainted with Beethoven and Weber. So Beethoven born 1770, so it gives you some idea of the age and what was going on, and I suppose all the turbulent times around that. He's acquainted with Beethoven and Weber, another a great German composer who actually died in Smart's house. So Weber, who was once again a great composer, actually died in George Smart's house. So there we are, ties it all together. So George was born in 1776, so Beethoven was born in 1770, and George lived a bit longer than Beethoven, who died slightly earlier than George did. So now I'm going to move on. I had a request from Kathy Beardsley out at Crantock for the tune Rest, which is in the Methodist hymn book number 23, in the additional tunes at the back of the book. And I'd forgotten all about this tune, I will confess. I'd forgotten about it. And then I thought, oh, well, what words does it go to? So it actually goes to Dear Lord and Father of Mankind, which you can find at 673 in Hymns and Psalms. And of course it's in that place in the book where it's not going to turn very easily. During the service you've got time to get your hymn book sorted out so that everything's going to turn nicely and you're not going to come to grief with the music falling all over the place, which could well happen. Oh, I don't know, that's not looking too bad. So, mousy gone. I'm using this organ which I like so much, the organ from Freisack in Austria, and it really is quite lovely. If you saw the end of the morning service, I have actually done a little video of how it sort of all works, and so I'm really quite pleased with it. Just managing it is slightly harder in that sometimes I have to use the touchpad to get the stops I want, but I can live with that. So, Dear Lord and Father of Mankind, forgive our foolish ways, to the tune Rest, from the additional tunes at the back of the hymn book. So I know we've had those words before, but playing a different tune, I think, just sort of does something different, doesn't it? It just does something different with the word. It brings the makes just nice. I don't quite know how to explain it, but I think often when we have a different tune to words, we often think a little bit more about them and a bit sort of too blasé about what we might be singing about. I don't mean that unkindly or no offence intended, but you know, to think that everybody would be blasé about singing the hymns and things, but just sometimes to ring the changes, I think is just great. So I'm going to do a couple of hymns using the piano. I did say I would do some with the piano. I haven't got together a great selection, but somebody did suggest, well, how about Oh Happy Day? So I really thought it was quite entertaining. Let me go and get myself sorted, and whilst I'm getting to the piano, there's the piano. You can all see that. I was quite sort of intrigued by, I think you can still see me and hear me, just by sort of looking through. So let's put the tune I'm going to play over there. And just sort of looking back, I've given you the numbers. If we look at 744. I'm not going to sing this, but I just thought it's interesting to compare that in the Methodist hymn book we had a tune called Happy Day, which you probably will remember. Right, the technology's let me down. Let me just put me pedal in. Nothing worse than not having a sustain pedal working, is there? That's better. A nice cheerful tune. That's slightly high. So that's what we had in the Methodist hymn book. So what did they do when we got to hymns and psalms? Well, they went with the tune Festus. A nice German tune. Which, for me, that's nothing like as goey or as joyful as the one in the Methodist hymn book. Not my choice or anything like that. But then we got Oh Happy Day, and not the one from the Whoopi Goldberg Sister Act, which is another lot of fun. Now, this is not the same tune, but Oh Happy Day. Now, those of you that have got Mission Praise, and it's 499, will discover that there's only 4 verses, whereas in Methodist hymn book we had 5 verses. So I will do 5 verses, and so this is the tune which I'm sure, well, I'm thinking this is what Chris George would have had in mind, because he suggested why not doing this. So here we go with Oh Happy Day. Now, talk about the tune, and you might think, well, what on earth am I going on about? Happy Day, so it's got a really spirited tune, this, so do enjoy. I can't whoop up the other tunes quite so much, but I feel sure we can do something with this. with something like that. You can't but be happy, I think. So sometimes Christians aren't always that happy, but I think singing something like that just always lifts the spirit a bit, doesn't it? There we go. So, oh, happy day. You might have thought what was going on here with a bit of a chorus, but there was a chorus, of course, in 744. There wasn't a chorus in singing in hymns and psalms, and it's not made it to singing the faith. But never mind, we've got it in another book, and we can get around that all right. Whilst I'm here, and we've got the Methodist hymn, but from the 337 from the Gospel Call section. God loved the world of sinners lost and ruined by the fall. Salvation full at highest cost he offers free to all. Oh, 'twas love, 'twas wondrous love, the love of God to me. It brought my Saviour from above to die on Calvary. So it's not a sort of, in my mind, not a sort of jolly, as it were, but a sort of reflected, oh, 'twas love, 'twas wondrous love, the love of God to me. So here we go. to Phil Borman for suggesting some of these gospel hymns, if you like, and delighted to play whatever. It so happens that it's Phil's birthday today. We didn't get to see him at church this morning, otherwise I might have tried to embarrass him on the Zoom coffee morning. I will now. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Phil. Happy birthday to you. So, I hope you had a good day, Phil, and see you on Wednesday. So, I'm going to move back to the organ now and move the camera and things back. I had hoped to do something slightly different in terms with the organ this evening. I've been a bit concerned about the kind of sound. I'm trying to improve things all the time, and I thought I'd managed to improve it. In actual fact, it wouldn't play ball this evening, which I was a bit cheesed about, but never mind. I'll try it for another day. So let's move back. Don't get too sick. Right. Back at the organ. Oh, Jesus, I have promised. And I'm not going to do it to the modern upbeat tune, not because I don't like it, but I rather like the Wolvercote tune to Oh Jesus I Have Promised. It's a good, I'll use my word again, good stronger tune, and I do like this tune, so I'm going to do it to Wolvercote. Another time I might do it to something else. So here we go. Oh Jesus, I have promised. say, very good, strong tune, very good indeed. You never know who's going to look in on these evenings, and remember a fortnight ago, I think Robert Sharp looked in, the director of music from York Minster, and there's another organist who, a very fine organist indeed, by the name of Richard McVeigh. I'm not entirely sure where he lives, but that doesn't matter. He has the most wonderful setup in his house, a Hauptwerk organ, and he has given absolutely stunning recitals on a Saturday evening. I find myself staying in and sitting watching Richard from the comfort of my front room, him playing, and he is an absolute fabulous player, and he has demonstrated so many different organs from historic organs from other countries. It's been a real joy to listen. And he, on a Sunday, if you want some more hymns, tune in to Richard. He's on a YouTube channel called Beauty in Sound. I'll try and remember to put this up in the comments. But he takes requests online, so people type in, and his other half, Caroline, gets the music ready, and the requests come in. They have some prepared already, but the music comes in, and he will play whatever comes in. So there we go. So do look out for him. It really it's lovely just to sit and watch somebody else play for a change. It really is. Just As I Am. We're going to conclude with Just As I Am. I didn't give you a hymn number. My apologies. 697 from Hymns and Psalms. We're going to do it to a completely different tune. Many of you will have heard of Sir John Stainer and his rather famous, or in some cases thought of as infamous, crucifixion. Some people have been noticed to say, "Oh, what do you think of Stainer's crucifixion?" A good idea. I'd say it's all tongue-in-cheek because it's a lovely piece. I regard it quite highly in that. For the day and the text set for Good Friday, and telling the Passion story in a way in which the average church congregation can get involved, and your average sort of church choir can manage the piece. It's written rather, I suppose, along the lines of St Matthew Passion or St John Passion by Bach, but how many churches can put on a great work like that? So Stainer wrote his Crucifixion. J.H. Maunder wrote a piece called Olivet to Calvary, which follows the story from the garden at Gethsemane, and from Olivet follows the story through to Jesus' death on Calvary. And the last hymn is Just As I Am, and it's a lovely, lovely setting. I will play it over to you, and so that you've got some idea of how the melody. If you've never heard it before, I think it's rather lovely. We don't want that. We want thunder. So I'll play the tune over for you, and it ties in really quite well with the sermon this morning from Mark at our church at TMC, who talked about the writer Charlotte Elliott, who wrote the words "Just As I Am," who I think probably best if you go and check out the sermon. But Charlotte didn't have anything to take to a function, and so she just took herself and then wrote these wonderful words. So here is the tune. was asked would I play this. I think he has some time back for this, and he's now actually gotten around to doing it, but she mentioned it to me today and sent me the music, so hopefully it's out of copyright, but there we go. We're not selling it or anything like that. And if you've got a copy of the music, you can see these wonderful lines. Somebody described it, a well-known American organist, these sweet 19th century sort of harmonizations where the tenors have got a little bit to do and the altos have got a little bit to do in the last line, and the slightly slushy harmony. Wonderful sense of what it's all about, so enjoy just as I am. the details. Richard McVeigh, do look him up. Very fine organist indeed. So I hope you enjoyed this evening. Keep your requests coming, and I'll look forward to playing for you on Thursday. So keep taking good care of yourselves. Good night and God bless.